a company A, public users, company B, and company C. These are all different types of customers. What are the drawbacks of public clouds and what are the drawbacks of the private clouds will all contribute the disadvantages of hybrid cloud here. All these are different applications of a community model or cloud services. With few organizations, for example, 5 organizations, they form one community for different to access different cloud services. Dear students, welcome to computer science classes. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in computer science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Students, let us start our discussion with the concepts cloud deployment model. So under this, we are going to talk about private clouds, public cloud, hybrid cloud, and community cloud. These are the topics to be discussed in this session. Now let us start with what are different types of cloud or cloud deployment models. So here, if you look at the diagram here, we can make out here there are 4 types of cloud models. One is public cloud and private cloud, hybrid cloud, and community cloud. So these are all different models to be discussed. Now let us start with what is a public cloud. So if you know what is a cloud and what are the cloud services, the public cloud constitute the first expression of the cloud computing. They are realization of the canonical view of the cloud computing in which the services offered are made available to the anyone from anywhere and at any point of time through the internet. So this is the main definition of public cloud here. So what do you mean of public cloud? Here the service provider, through the service provider, the public cloud can be accessed by or is going to provide a service or offered services are made available to anyone from anywhere at any point of time through the internet. Internet is the base for these cloud services. This is the definition of public cloud here. They are distributed systems, most likely composed of one or more data centers connected together, on top of which the specific service offered by the cloud are implemented. So here the data centers means nothing but on the data servers or the physical servers where we are implementing different services offered to the public. Any customer can easily sign in with the cloud provider, enter their credential and billing details and use the services offered. This is the basic terms and condition. So if any of the user would like to access the cloud services, that is public cloud services, the first step he has to sign in the cloud provider through the login and he has to enter his credential like billing details and other services offered by the provider. Now the public clouds are used both completely replace the IT infrastructure of the enterprise and to extend it when it is required. These are the features of public cloud services. What are the characteristics of cloud services? Here, a public cloud is meant to serve a multitude of users, not a single customer. So if I talk about single customer, it might be a private services. A public cloud is for multiple users. Now, QoS management is very important aspect of public clouds. Significant portion of the software infrastructure is devoted to the monitoring the cloud's resources to build them according to the contract made with the users to keep complete history of the cloud usage of each customer. So this is one of the responsibility of the service provider. So they are going to maintain a services or different types of tools to monitor the users and usage and keep track of all this usage and history of the cloud, everything. So this is the responsibility of the provider. And a public cloud can offer any kind of services, infrastructure, platform or application level. So the public cloud can provide different types of services like infrastructure services, platform services or software services. Now it can be composed of geographically dispersed data centers to share the load of users and better serve them according to their locations. So it is a type of distributed systems. So any of the all the services of the user are distributed at different locations so that they can serve the users or they can give a better service to the users at different locations. An example for this public cloud is Google App Engine, Amazon, and Salesforce.com are different services. Example for public cloud services. Now look at the diagram here. So this is the public network. In the public network by the provider, they will be having the application service, database service. These are the infrastructure maintained by cloud service provider. And here, these are the one is accessible by different types of clients or customer for different application. So this is one type of applications, another type of users, and another type of services accessed by different companies. And here, pay as you go. That is the feature of this cloud services. We are going to pay as how much we are use the particular service from the cloud service provider. So this is the diagram for public cloud here. In the next slide, see another diagram how this data cloud providers data centers is here and computers that handle the access. A company A, public users, company B, and company C. These are all different types of customers or the clients. They are going to access this is the service or infrastructure or the service provider, and users who access the cloud from within the perimeter. This is the one type of service. Access through the internet, computer that handle access. These are the different types of access to the cloud services. And here this provider, he can provide different types of services or he is going to maintain different types of services, platform service, storage service, server service, computing, scalable hardware, and application server. So this is a public service. This is a public cloud. So they are going to have different types of services. These are services accessed by multiple users or multiple organizations. So this is a definition of public cloud service. Let us see what are the advantages of public cloud services. One is hassle-free infrastructure management. Now, because the service provider will be look after all the infrastructure and the management of the service infrastructure, and high scalability means so it can be the customers can go for scalable services as and when he required, he can go for services. Next one is high availability. So this is the main advantage of this, and cost effective. These are all the advantages of public cloud services. Now in the next slide, we'll talk about private clouds. Now in the previous slide, we were discussing about public cloud. Now let us see what is a private cloud services. So these are virtual distributed systems that rely on private infrastructure and provide internal users with the dynamic provisioning of computing resources. So these are virtual distributed system. It provides internal users with the dynamic provision of computing resources. So as it is not a private services, so the few services will be or they are given provision for only within an organization or employees or the users within an organization. They have been given few access to the different services. So here taking into account the usage of the cloud and proportionally billing the different department or sections of an enterprise. So it is possible through private cloud system, it is possible to have a billing system for different department or different section of an enterprise. Now, private clouds have advantage of keeping the core business operations in-house by relying on the existing IT infrastructure and reducing the burden of maintaining it once the cloud has been set up. So here it is possible to have the important concepts or important applications at their premises or at their enterprises, and only they are accessing few services from the service provider. So in that way, it is type of security to the organizations to have the important data or application information within the organization as a private cloud service. Now look at the diagram here. So if you look at the private cloud service, this is new third-party users, access control. See, this is a data center. This is a data center. User who access the cloud service within the perimeter means within the organization. So database access, legacy system, hardware, applications. This is the boundary perimeter. And this is the public users and they are blocked access. So this is the, what is the meaning of here, the private cloud here? See, this is the private cloud maintained by the provider, or it can be within an enterprise or in organizations. Only the inside this, the users of this organization can make use of these type of services, and all the services are blocked for public users or other different types of users. So this is the definition of the private cloud services. Here, the boundary perimeter means the definition, the only the user within the particular boundary can are accessible, or they can access different type of services of the provider. In the next slide. Now let us see what are the benefits, limitations and use case of this private clouds. So benefits is better security and better control and predictable cost and legal compliances. So better security here, it is possible to have the important data of any organization or important applications as a private at their premises maintained by their own people. That is the better security and better control, as because it is maintained within an organization by either by themselves or by third-party users. Next one is predictable cost and legal compliances. See, these are all the benefits of private cloud services. And what the limitations of is limited scalability. Now, because this is the private cloud services, and here the users within an organization or within an enterprise have been given limited access to the resources, maybe hardware or software resources. So that is the one as a drawback of that. Huge initial capex and limited access. Now, because the access is the main concern of the private cloud services. Only they have given permission of users to access only limited services. Now it is, what are the use case here? High regulated business, they are using it, and tech companies that requires complete control, and large companies that require custom solution. See, these are all different types of enterprises can make use of these private cloud services. Now in the next slide, we will see another type of service, that is hybrid cloud services. What is hybrid cloud? See, as the definition itself says, if I say hybrid, it is a combination of more than one cloud services. Now let us see the definition of this. It is a mixed computing environment where applications are run using the combination of computing, storage services in a different environments. That is public clouds and private clouds, including on-premises data centers or edge location. So this is the definition of hybrid. Say it's going to provide a mixed computing environment here at private clouds as well as at the public cloud. So it is possible to have a infrastructure where with the cloud services, with the one cloud infrastructure, it is possible to have a separate private cloud as well as public cloud. So any users, whichever he want to prefer it, and he can have their services with a different either public or private cloud services through or in the name of hybrid cloud services. So hybrid deployment are primarily considered by organizations that are invested in their on-premises infrastructure and also want to use the services. Next one is example of hybrid cloud platform include Amazon Web Services. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. Output, Azure Stack, Azure Arc, Azure VMware, virtual machine where all these are different applications, which is an example for hybrid cloud services. Now this is the diagram, shows the how the cloud services, infrastructure of cloud services. So this is hybrid cloud services. Inside this, we have separate public cloud and private cloud and traditional infrastructure. This hybrid cloud, it consists of a separate public cloud infrastructure, private cloud infrastructure, and traditional infrastructure. So this is the definition of hybrid cloud. It is a combination of public as well as private cloud infrastructure. Now, what is the advantage of this? Benefits. Look at the benefits of hybrid cloud. Scalability. There is no need to wait until you can afford to buy several more servers. You can use the resources provided by the cloud services. This is the advantage of this hybrid cloud services. Security. If you make use of hybrid cloud infrastructure, your organization can take advantage of the security that comes with the private cloud as well as the power and options that typically come with the public cloud. The security means here the users can make use of, he can take the benefits of private cloud services as well as public cloud services in hybrid cloud services. Now, what is the cost? It often has lower long-term cost, freeing up some headroom in organization's budget because it is easier and less expensive to scale a hybrid cloud upward, and the company saves money during the growth process. It is another benefit is almost similar to scalability. So with respect to finance, with respect to cost, it's much more better for any enterprises. Next one is control. Control is one of the primary benefits of hybrid cloud environment. See, instead of putting all facts of your infrastructure in the hands of third-party provider, you can customize the private side of your cloud model so that it suits the needs of your organization. Could allocate other sectors of your hybrid cloud to handle less critical or time-sensitive tasks. So this is a control. So here some of the infrastructure can be placed in private cloud services and some of them in a public cloud. So this is, you can have better control over the services. One is the speed. It reduces latency and simplify the data transfer process. And you can use the power of edge computing, which can make your entire IT infrastructure faster. So this is another advantage of hybrid cloud benefits. Now, what are the drawbacks of this? Data loss or theft, because some of the data are in private and some of the data or information are in the private services. There is a drawback of this. Data leakage and account or service hijacking, insecure interface and APIs, denial of service attacks, technology vulnerable, especially in shared environment. See, these are the main drawbacks here. What are the drawbacks of public clouds and what are the drawbacks of the private clouds will all contribute the disadvantages of hybrid cloud here. Next, we'll go for community model, one of the service model, that is community model. What is community model or community cloud services? In this model, one organization owns the private cloud infrastructure and multiple business within similar characteristics share its resources. So what is the meaning of the community cloud here? See, one of the service provider is going to provide services only for limited number of organizations or limited number of users or clients. So that forms a community model. So only those users or enterprises, they can make use of these type of services. That is community model. So community cloud in computing is a collaborative effort in which infrastructure is shared between several organizations from a specific community with a common concern. So as I told you in the first point, so here the few companies or several organizations forms a one community to share a common resources from the cloud service provider. That is the definition of community model here. So here a cloud that is deployed and shared among groups of people for shared common interest such as mission, security, policy applications is known as community cloud. This is a definition of this. So here, any organization with the common interest. All the organizations must agree with respect to the missions, security concern, policies of the provider, and applications used by the users or the organization, and services provided by the provider. So, if the organizations which is having a common interest, or they are agree with different services by the providers, and they form one community, and only those community people can make use of services from the cloud service provider. In the next slide, see the diagram here. This is how we can visualize the cloud service provider. So this is a community cloud, and here in this example there are three organizations. This is organizations. See, these are three organizations forms one community. Main in the sense, all the three organizations or enterprises will have a common missions, common goal. They are going to make use of common applications, services from the provider. So this forms a community, and they are going to access the services from the service provider. Let us see what are the advantages of the cloud-based solutions. Eliminate capital expenses, reduce the responsibilities and training cost of IT staff. It is no hassle of service maintenance, and adjust to the unique needs of the company, ease of deployment, and adjust to your budget, subscription-based model. All these are different applications of a community model or cloud services. In the next slide, let us see the drawbacks of this community model. It is not a good choice for every organization, because only organizations which have a common machine or a common goal, or they would like to make use of common applications, only those can form one community for different cloud services. So it is not for all the enterprises or organizations. Next one is slow adaptation of data, and fixed amount of data storage and bandwidth is shared among all community members. So this is one of the drawback here. So as I said, they form a community with few organizations. For example, 5 organizations, they form one community for to access different cloud services. So all the 5 organizations, they have to share, access the same services with respect to the bandwidth in terms of speed. Now, it is costly than public cloud services in terms of finance, in terms of usage or the payment. It is costly as compared to public cloud services, and sharing responsibilities among organization is difficult. So here, if there are 3 organizations, so all the 3 organizations must agree they have to have a common agreement for sharing different types of hardware or software resources from the provider. But in practical, it is a tedious job or difficult process. So without a strong governance and management framework, the community cloud may face issues such as conflicts, inefficiencies, miscommunication, and breaches among different organizations. In community models, they must have a good governance or a strong governance with respect to the cloud services. Otherwise, it leads to issues of different types of conflicts among the different organizations or different enterprises within a community cloud. Next one is rarity. So here, community cloud deployment is still less common than other deployment models, because it is necessary to locate other organizations with similar requirement. So when to deployment means implementation is very difficult here, because all the organizations must have a common goal. In the community cloud here, all the organizations must have similar requirement, but so we have to look for a clients which have the common requirements for cloud services. Now, relatively high cost, as you see in the previous slide, as compared to public, it is costlier. Now, limited bandwidth and storage. With the multiple organizations sharing the same resources, bandwidth and storage capacity can be concerned. Obviously, more than one, for example, 5 organizations using the same storage or same bandwidth, it is a concern for other organizations within a community cloud. Now let us see the comparison of different cloud services here. One is public cloud. Advantages, as we have seen, affordable, high scalable, strict SLAs, elasticity. In in the look at the drawback of public cloud is security concern, privacy is not with it because it's a public service, and autonomy of organizations. Now, under public cloud, advantages ample resources, security well controlled because it is private cloud maintained within organizations or by third party applications. Budget and weak SLAs are the drawback of this, and community cloud cost effective, collaborative, better security than public, but with the security is the main concern here, and complex to manage the different organizations with the common requirements of services. Next one is under hybrid cloud, highly scalable, better security than public cloud because it's a combination of private and public services, and security is a concern, and collaboration issues. See, these are all comparison of different cloud deployment models. Dear students, so far we have discussed about cloud deployment models. They are private, public, community, and hybrid deployment model. Now let us continue our discussion in my next class. Thank you so much.